You guys are asked to do 18-14, and I've done 18-13. Then give you an idea. Your guys this is the one I'm doing has declining sales. Yours has advancing sales or increasing sales, and so it'll look a little bit different, but it should be similar enough. And here we get to do regression analysis again, and regression analysis are kind of cool, especially for things like this when you're tracking sales and whatnot, and you want to make some forecasts. And of course, you download your data, right? So you get that from the problem, get that right from Connect, download it into Excel, and then what's it ask for? It says graph the data. So I actually did the regression, and it kind of did a period line fit dot, which is basically a graph. But you could certainly again do a simple graph here, insert it, right, and do that. Gives you a pretty good idea what's going on. You can see it's going to kind of fit that over there. If you have to do that in Connect, I'm not sure that you would. Describe the time series pattern. It's in a declining, kind of a fairly steadily declining pattern, right? So why is forecasting with a trend model appropriate? Well, because we've got a pretty good collection of periods and a pretty good data list, so it's a good way to do it, right? And then use a simple linear regression. It says, what is the MAD? Well, let's take a look at some of these things and figure it out first. Okay, let's come up here and do the data, and hopefully you've done the data analysis, you've done the add-in and everything, right? And we want to do regression, so we come down, we click OK, and our input Y range, and that's going to be, in this case, our sales, right? Okay, that's our Y range. Our input X range, oh, it seems like they got these things backwards for some reason, is the period. Okay, and we want labels because I went ahead and I got those, and I think 95%, I don't know if it has a confidence level on this, but that would be fairly typical to what we would do. And in this case, I guess we don't check it, so it doesn't matter. Output range, E2, that's where I have it, so maybe it'll just kind of cover it up. If we go ahead and click the residuals and the standardized residuals, the line fit plots is what gave me this up here. Normal probability plots we don't need, but I click OK. It's going to override the existing data. Hopefully it doesn't screw this up too badly. We'll see what happens here. Okay. So it gives me this output, right? And some of these labels are a little small, so I might make it a little bit bigger. And it gives me, the residuals, and it asks for what is the MAD. So let's take a look at that. Hang on a second. I'm going to pause for a second. So the first one it asks for is that MAD, and what I'm gonna do is move this over, okay, because I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna move it over a couple here. The standard residuals, I don't think I need those for this problem. So the MAD is really, again, it gives you my residuals, and by residuals, this is actually my error, right? My projected sales, my predicted sales or projected sales, versus what the actual sales were, right? And so it tells me, this is just my standard error. And so if you remember right, if we go back to that problem, all we have to do is take the absolute value of this and then do an average, right? Again, it's not a lot different than the standard deviation. So if I come up, I do all my absolute values, my first one, so that's kind of nice. And I want it to be this one to be the absolute value of this one. Okay, which means, again, I'm just turning anything that's negative into a positive. I can drag that down. I got a nice little deal there. I will put a little line under it because that makes it look a little bit better. And then I just want an average, right, of that thing. And so my MAD should be, or my error, my average error basically is what it amounts to, is 111 $111.15. So $111.15 would be my MAD for that particular set of data. And it says, what is the predicted annual change of industry sales? Hang on, I'm going to pause again here for a second. And all they're asking for there is what, based on our trend here, what's the average rate in our case of decreasing sales? And it gives it for you right up here. Yeah. And we've done these before, but it says that my sales are should, on a predictive level, go down by $36.24 roughly per period, right? And then it asks lastly, it says predict the next 3 periods of sales. And so I've got 16, 17, 18, and sometimes I'll just do that, then I can drag that down. It knows that I want to just change, keep the sequence going. So 19, 20, 21. And then this was my my last year's predicted sales. So my next year's predicted sales are going to be this minus this, but that's already a negative. So actually to do that, I have to do this is equal to this, and in this case I hit plus this because that's a negative, so I gotta be cognizant of my signs. And once again, I want that reference to stay static, and so I'll hit my F4, which gives me my dollar signs, enter that in, drag it down, and there's my next 3 years predictions for sales. All right, that's my MAD. This is my what I think is going to happen each year. It's going to go down 36. And I believe that's all it asks for 13, so relatively simple.